Welcome to the WrestleTalk News. I'm Pete Quinnell. Over the course of wrestling history, there's been some miraculous returns, ones that look like they may never happen. Whether that be due to tensions and disagreements that would seemingly never be quashed like a Bret Hart or an Ultimate Warrior, or due to severe neck and head injuries like Bryan Danielson, Adam Copeland, or Syres. However, there's one notable name that works in WWE currently that had his in-ring career cut short due to injury that is now being confirmed as unfixable. Appearing on Insight with Chris Van Vliet, Natalya spoke about her husband, TJ Wilson, also known as Tyson Kidd, who's been working as a lauded producer for WWE. He can't do anything that would require him to take a bump. That's the thing when you have an injury like what TJ had, where it's a C1 injury. And not everybody's familiar with what a C1 injury is, but it is where TJ broke his neck at the base of his brain. So it's like where the brain and the spinal cord meet. It's a very, very vulnerable area, which is unfortunate to say the least, as TJ was always fun to watch in the ring, but his expertise is, at the very least, helping shape the future. Meanwhile, in AEW, there very much could be a return happening before long, as Fightful Select is reporting that at last week's AEW Collision, Serena Deeb was seen backstage. Deeb hasn't been on AEW programming for about a year now, and it's reported that it was due to disagreements with management, while Deeb herself claimed it was due to an injury. It was particularly noted in Fightful Select's report that Deeb hadn't been seen backstage at all in the time she's been off, so it was noteworthy for that reason, in addition to the fact that the area wasn't somewhere that Deeb would have just been visiting, with Collision emanating from Toledo, Ohio. Select also adds that from those they've spoken to, Deeb seemed to be happy to be back, and management were happy to have her back too, so whatever lingering issues there may have been seem to have been resolved. So before long, it looks like we'll be getting Serena Deeb back on our screens. What do you have Deeb do when she returns? Let me know in the comments. But that's not the only return lined up to happen before long, because there's new evidence to suggest a Randy Orton WWE return is happening soon. A few months ago, Rev Theory, the band responsible for Randy Orton's entrance music, posted an updated version of the song to all platforms, and now the band have posted new artwork for the track 2X with an additional tease saying, "The time is near." It was reported last week by Fightful Select that WWE are hoping to have Randy Orton back by Survivor Series, so there's about a month to go if that timeline turns out to be accurate. In other news, Tony Khan was on social media again. I know, shocking stuff, but last week he mentioned that things became personal between him and WWE when he was informed that WWE had allegedly tampered with the contracts of AEW talent while he was by his mother's side in hospital. This isn't the first time allegations of contract tampering have been brought up either in AEW, but now we have a bit more detail. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select is reporting a couple of names that were involved in this alleged tampering. I can tell you the two situations in which Khan took it personally, one of which was Swerve Strickland, who signed a multi-year deal on pay-per-view, being contacted for the Hit Row reunion. He, I believe, referred WWE or their talent relations person to his lawyer. And then there was the other instance when Tony Khan's mother was in the hospital. It became abundantly clear that WWE had contract tampered and spoke with William Regal and offered him a new role there, as he already had one prepared. While Swerve is of course still in AEW and doing wonderfully, I might add, Regal left AEW after 1 year and returned to WWE in his new backstage role. It's also worth noting that the legality of any of these actions is currently unclear, as pro wrestling lacks an overarching governing body which would typically be the arbiter of whether this is allowed or not. It's entirely possible this could be a breach of contract as well, but it also might not be. We don't really know, so just worth noting. And now, a special message from Turbo Jack.
998, 999, 1,000! That's 1,000 million squats! I made this wrestler Turbo Jack! When I was training to be a wrestler, I was put through my paces in the brutal Turbo Dungeon! That's what gives me the name, Dungeon. Turbo Dungeon Jack. I don't say the middle part that often. And it's the best dungeon there is! But if you don't want to wrestle your way through a dungeon, instead you just want to hack and slash and just kill! Just get hack and slash! Then check out this video's sponsor, Dungeon Hunter 6, the latest installment in the Dungeon Hunter series. Dungeon Hunter 6 is a free-to-play mobile IRPG with a unique hero collector feature. There's PvP and PvE modes, and it's in a stunning fantasy style. Stunning, I said! It's free, so click the download link in the description or scan the QR code on screen now to download it right now. In Dungeon Hunter 6, when you kill a boss, the game has a unique mechanism which lets you loot, ride, and fly them. But you can also summon 3 of them onto the battlefield to fight for you. And in the late game, you can even shapeshift into them for the ultimate power. Ultimate power. Actually sounds like a pretty good wrestling move finishing it. Just gonna write that down. Ultimate power. Ultimate power. The game features its 3D graphics with stunning animations, ensuring the smoothest combat on mobile devices. Plus, you can play with guildmates, grind with a variety of skill tree options, and trade items via the auction system. So download the game for free right now by using the link in the description or scan the QR code if you're viewing on a PC to get a special starter pack worth $50 by using the link, which gets you 10 summoning scrolls, 1 SSR Lieutenant, Demonic Wolf, and 1 accessory pack. And use your account to enter the Lucky Spin event to win big prizes like an iPhone 15 Pro Max, PS5, an Apple Watch, and more. Turbo Jack sure knows what all those things are. Here in the 80s, download Dungeon Hunter 6 today. It's Thursday. You know what that means. Again, after last week, it was on Wednesday. My review of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. Maydo. While we unfortunately didn't get low-riding bicycles for the opening match's gangbang gang entrance, we did get Card Blade brilliantly popped up against the hardcam side's right turnbuckle, making it look like a Jay White advertising What's Next graphic on TV. White took on Penta in a terrific opener, with the hot Texas crowd firmly behind chanting Cierro Miedo, complete with extra slap noises as Penta took off both his glove and top for a flesh-on-flesh chop battle. Jay only got the win when Juice Robinson knocked out Penta with his fake diamond ring from TJ Maxx, which is called TK Maxx in the UK. I thought he misspoke. Not the strongest way for your world title challenger to gain momentum, but I don't mind when it's with White, as I feel like he cheats to annoy his opponents rather than because he can't win, and it neatly sets up Juice in the Diamond Ring Battle Royal main event to set up a match with MJF, a feud that appears to have totally dropped its anti-Semitism charged quarters angle. It cut to MJF backstage afterwards where he explained he's not an idiot babyface. He wasn't just going to run down and take on 4 guys by himself. An awesome, typically Max line, somehow simultaneously deconstructing a wrestling trope, being very funny, and having the subtext of maybe he would run down if he had some of his own friends to back him up. Enter The Acclaimed, who once again offered to team with him, with Max Caster's awkward romantic interest. Shida and Emi Sakura maximized their minutes next, cramming a 15-minute match into about 7 minutes of TV time. The sequences after the ad break were particularly exciting, with near falls and a Sakura kick out at 1. In the background, a fan was holding up a "More Women Please" sign. It's crazy how that wording in the Attitude Era would have had a totally different meaning. Adam Copeland had a pre-recorded interview with Renee Paquette recapping his 40-year friendship with Christian and said that he doesn't want his TNT title. He's not going to fight him. But when Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne leave him, Copeland will be there to pick him up. So I have no idea what he's going to do until then. It's Wardlow's weekly squash time! Following one powerbomb on Ryan Nemeth, the referee called off the match quicker than you can tweet softest man alive. Tony Schiavone asked Wardlow why he's back, which Wardlow responded to by holding up his wrist tape with MJF written on it. I missed my own arm there. And pushing Schiavone over, what a heel. A heel Wardlow going against Max could be a great program, particularly with this far more effective presentation of Wardlow. Quick matches, not talking, and the history of their only other encounter, Wardlow squashing MJF last year. But it's not just Jay White, Wardlow, Juice Robinson, maybe Adam Cole, Samoa Joe, possibly Max Caster, and Roderick Strong currently in storylines directed at MJF's World Championship. The next backstage interview added easily the most exciting to the mix. The old Kenny Omega. Teasing once he's beaten Kyle Fletcher and then the Don Callis family, maybe we'll see the Omega of old challenging for the world title. Yes, give me that one. Give me the good Kenny Omega. Max then walked in, all babyfacey, asking to shake Omega's hand, where he leaned in close and said, 13 days, bitch. Which appears to be the amount of time left before MJF's reign will pass Kenny's. Would have preferred Excalibur to have cleared that up for me, as I was just confused. Side note, there's also the small matter of that devil guy attacking White claiming to be MJF. or at least insinuating. Perhaps that masked figure could start taking out anyone who's aiming for the world title like a murder mystery, which RJ City gets to be Benoit Blanc trying to investigate. Despite staying a bit longer to make one last round of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, Adam Cole finally left Roderick Strong's compound to get much needed surgery. Roddy closed the latest skit, realizing he knows what he needs to do to get his best friend back. He needs to be nice to that scumbag. Perhaps the Kingdom end up teasing with Max against the Gangbang Gang. Tony Schiavone introduces his next guest with such venom he spat on the ring canvas. People have got to wrestle on that, Tony. Don't get all the heat as he was talking about Powerhouse Hobbs beating Chris Jericho last week, but it was Hobbs who really shone here, cutting a great promo about how Jericho told his grandma to shut up at a live show 25 years ago. It was then up to Carl Fletcher to beat Omega, even though he had also fallen out with the family, potentially setting up a United Empire versus Family feud if Ospreay joins AEW next year. It was just so nice to see Kenny wrestle a singles match. He's not had one on TV since July. In fact, this is only his 7th singles match this year in AEW. 2 of those were on pay-per-view. Fletcher was a great opponent for him, talented and new enough to give Kenny a great match, which Kenny could convincingly win while giving Fletcher the rub. The last 3 minutes were spectacularly back and forth. Lance Archer beat not a young buck. Swerve Strickland had a great warning for Hangman Page. It's not always you that pays for your actions. Sting addressed the fans with an in-ring promo talking about the people he looked up to in his generation. Dusty Rhodes, yay! Hulk Hogan, boo! And Ric Flair, woo! Boo! Yay! How do we feel about Ric Flair now? They all hung on because of the roar of the fans, but now he's announcing his retirement. His last match will be at Revolution 2024, 3 years after his first in AEW. This is his retirement for sure. Until Dixie Carter offers him a new multi-year deal. Tony Storm's second silent film was far better, utilizing silent movie tropes far more effectively. Studio boss RJ City teased Tony getting her own personal butler next week. Please also be RJ City. That weirdly then cut right into JR's sit-down interview with Nick Wayne and Nick Wayne's mum. She was hurt how her son could side with Christian after everything he said about their father. His father, it's not also her father. It's just too many dad issues right now. Teeing up Christian to appear by Nick's side and say, "You ready to come home, son?" Nick Wayne's mum slapped Nick Wayne after he said she was a terrible mother. It feels like AEW are trying to create their own Dominic Mysterio. And Christian, well, I guess he's Rhea Ripley. A returning Darby Allin jumped Christian and Wayne brawling onto the ramp. Luchasaurus and Sting joined in, leaving Nick with what seemed like a shoot tooth knocked out. Please have a skit next week of Bad Dad Christian taking Nick Wayne to the dentist. And please make that dentist be Britt Baker, DMD. And the main event was a fun battle royal that only ever had one winner, Juice Robinson, setting up a match with MJF next week. The battle royal was fun though, with Max paying Dustin Rhodes to hit Shattered Dreams on Juice, and a match-long storyline of Daddy Magic stopping Daniel Garcia from dancing like they're in the movie Flashdance. Another daddy issue! What is this, CBW? But Jay White jumped MJF and Juice won with the knockoff ring, as opposed to the knockout ring, leaving the Gangbang Gang to stand tall in the ring, but not the ring that he had on his finger. That's too small. A very solid episode with loads going on. This week's Dynamite is 87%. Now go watch the brand new episodes of Tables, Lists and Chairs, counting down the 10 best WWE pay-per-views ever.
Tables,
Lists, chairs, and
welcome to Tables,
chairs.
It's Tables, Lists and Chairs. We are doing this episode this week. We are doing the best WWE pay-per-views. If it's your first time